I wanted to address something you said earlier on about it's not all that easy. It's not, you said that in
there's challenging.
Exactly, but the work doesn't come that easy, and yet it isn't hard. But it doesn't. You don't just snap your fingers and amazingly you're in your breath and all this.
And all life is wonderful.
Yes, exactly. So, and I have a little story about that with one of my students, and this student sat on the stool and came every single week, and also came for singing lessons, but more in breath for a year before any singing lessons happened. And the comment from the student to somebody else, which came back to me, was, I sat on that stool for a whole year and wondered why I was there. And one day, there it was. And I found I can't live without this breath. I thought that was amazing. I just thought that was, yeah, there it was, and now I can't live without this breath.
It is a practice.
It is, yes.
But it's a practice, like we said earlier, that doesn't necessarily need a studio or 20 minutes of quiet.
No.
But it is a practice, like a choice to just shift your attention for a moment, even from thinking to sensation, and giving yourself time. Just and like you said, it's not 20 minutes of time, but just the possibility of I'm just going to be in sensation where time does start to show up. So you're not going, okay, 5 minutes. Okay, I've got myself becoming all these things. Okay, I'm in my breath. No, that it's that you just offer yourself that path of shifting for a few times just to sensation. Practically, it's here. You've said that it's tangible. And then time shifts.
And then coming to class is a great big present.
Yes.
Well, it's something simple, like with my new students that come in, the very first thing I ask them is to, now they're coming back the next week for a lesson. I said, in this week, I want you to develop an awareness of how many times a day you hold your breath. Just sitting in front of the computer, or doing something, or sitting. Anything, any way of when you hold your breath, walking down the street, are you holding your breath? And it's just an awareness. And the next thing you know, they're starting to become more sensitive to sensation. Instead of thinking, oh, well, I noticed I did this. I hold my breath when I do this. Why do I do that? It can be so simple.
And the answers are there. And that's the wonderful part, is the answers. If you are able to take some time to be in sensation, the answers come. They come into your head. They come into thought or somewhere. And they come into consciousness. That you become conscious of them. And then it's like that curiosity. That's interesting that I hold my breath there. Why? And then sometimes they come up with, and they understand why they do it. Oh, I remember why that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And then as soon as that you start to become present to that, it starts to go. You don't,
And then they don't do that anymore.
Sometimes. Or else it becomes really, really uncomfortable when they do.
That's right.
So it's like, I don't want to be in that anymore.
I don't want to be there, yes.
But you do have to be in the experience of it. It's that you have to. So sometimes you have to be in the discomfort. You have to sit in what isn't working. And then possibly, same thing that we talk about when there's pain, instead of focusing on the pain and sending breath into the pain and trying to fix the pain, it's like, well, where is it not painful? Where is there a sensation of movement where there's ease? And take your awareness, your focus off the pain, so that maybe the breath that's in the rest of your body can support that and give it a little space, and maybe possibly start to move in there. But if you're focused on it, it's going to stop. And everything, you don't have anything to support the pain. So there's wonderful, they're simple, but the practice of them takes time and consciousness.
I have a real story about that.
Yeah.
I have a person who comes to my classes in Toronto, and she broke her ankle really badly, like it required surgery and pieces of metal and all that stuff. And the pain medication gave her really, really severe migraine headaches, so she couldn't take the pain medication. And she sent me an email and told me, I can't take the pain medication. We had a chat about what she might just bring for herself because she'd been coming to classes. And she tells me a lot now that she didn't. She never took pain medication while she was healing from this. And she got through that experience, dealing with her pain, by being in her breath. Just being in the sensation of the breath. And this idea that this whole body is supporting the healing, and that she was having ease in other places. She wasn't one giant broken ankle.
Which is what we do.
Yeah.
We focus on what's not working.
Right.
Yeah. That's great.
Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing? That's amazing. I think.
Yeah. And that she had the presence and the desire to, go through that
And the
experience. And the courage.
And the courage.
It does take courage
Takes courage.
to stay in and trust that the rest of her breath will support that.
Well, the other story she told me was that she actually broke her ankle in Panama, and she had to sit in a hotel room for 2 days before she could get on a plane back to Canada. And she said the way she got through that without having a complete panic attack was to keep on reminding herself to experience her breath moving in her body.